With the Gleaming Depths update now just under a week away, today we'll be taking a look at all of the weapon buffs and nerfs coming to the game on December 3rd, and also taking a look at a surprise event announcement coming this weekend. Taking a look at the weapons that will be receiving a buff. Now, all of these changes are coming directly from the PTS patch notes, and as the PTS was taken offline there, I think it was last week, and as we got that update to confirm that the Gleaming Depths update will be coming out on December 3rd, all of these changes are now final. So these are the changes that you will see reflected in the Gleaming Depths update come next Tuesday. Now, taking a look at the weapons here, as you can see, the following weapons have been increased. The 10mm pistol has gone up from 28 to 31, the 44 revolver from 60 to 72, the black powder pistol from 176 up to 216, the black powder rifle from 180 to 217, the bow has gone up from 90 to 95, the cold shoulder has gone from 115 over 75 up to 91 over 91. Now, doing the math on this one, it does look like that visually, first of all visually, it does look like that it has received a nerf, but to be honest, I really feel that it's not really a massive nerf, it's actually a tiny little nerf. I know they say it has been increased, but as you can see there, the damage reduction has gone down from 115 over 91, and then you've seen there that it's gone from 75 up to 91. So technically, if you do the math on that one, there's a tiny little nerf that is going there with the cold shoulder. Pretty much as I can just tell from this one, this is just a combat balance. That's all that is. They're just balancing out the damage of the cold shoulder. Obviously, it does perform very well at the moment, and I will assume that it probably will still perform very well come next week's update. Obviously, you know, we all love using the cold shoulder, and to be honest, it probably still will be the best performing shotgun in the game when it comes to the shotguns that are available. Obviously, that extra cryo effect there and just the damage that it deals on its own anyway, it's still a really good weapon, and I'm going to assume that it still will be very viable, but there is a tiny little nerf going on there just behind the scenes. But look, you can do the math on that one and let me know your thoughts below in the comments. The combat shotgun is going up from 90 to 97, the compound bow from 100 to 112, the crossbow from 70 up to 111, the double barrel shotgun from 115 up to 140, the Gauss rifle from 140 up to 146, and then the Gauss shotgun is going up from 140 all the way up to 187. Now, for you fans of the Gauss shotgun, this definitely comes as great news, because obviously any buff to the Gauss shotgun is very welcomed, because obviously, you know, prior to not even the last update, but the update before, the Gauss shotgun did get a nerf, and it was definitely it wasn't welcomed when it came to the Gauss shotgun. But obviously, look, that was a result of how the explosive damage was being calculated, not just in regards to the Gauss shotgun, but just the actual explosive damage overall for most weapons. They had to readjust that with Milepost Zero reintroducing the explosive effect for energy weapons, but yeah, it did obviously get that little nerf. But there is a dev note regarding the Gauss shotgun, because they are still monitoring this. As you can see here, they say that we recognize the initial update to the Gauss shotgun, originally 105 up to 140, was not sufficient in making up for the damage lost with the earlier change to how explosion damage is calculated. We'll continue to observe this weapon's performance and will make further updates if needed to ensure that it meets expectations. So yeah, they are going to still monitor the Gauss shotgun. Look, any buff to the Gauss shotgun, as I said, is very welcomed, and it'll be nice to actually see how it does perform come December 3rd. So definitely I'll be making sure to make a follow-up video in regards to the Gauss shotgun, just to see exactly how it is next week. Moving on, we have the harpoon gun, which will be receiving a buff of 175 up to 195, the hunting rifle from 70 all the way up to 100, the lever action rifle from 75 up to 88, the pepper shaker from 60 up to 75. Now, I actually did release a video here on the channel on Monday that you can actually check out if you'd like to. Up in the top right hand corner there, you can click on that link, where we did actually test out the pepper shaker to see how it's actually performing right now in the game, and to be honest, it is performing very well. Now, I go over all of the numbers and all of the mods and everything in that video, so go ahead and check that out there, but we will be making a follow-up video just to see what the damage is like. I know obviously it has gone up to 75, we know it is, but just to see how it performs with next week's update. Moving on, the pipe bolt action is going up from 70 to 94, the pipe gun from 26 to 28, the pipe revolver from 55 up to 70. The pump action shotgun, that's going up from 95 to 102. The salvage assaultron head from 50 to 62. The single action revolver from 62 up to 82. And the dragon is going up from 225 to 255. And then lastly, we do have the western revolver going up from 65 up to 84. Now, just a quick note, when it comes to the likes of the dragon and even the black powder rifles, I know, yeah, they are receiving a buff and they are receiving a damage increase, but still to this day, I know obviously, look, there are builds that you can put together to, you know, to really help with that reload speed, but just overall, when it comes to the likes of black powder rifles in this game, they're just not viable anymore. They were absolutely overpowered back in the day. We all remember what it was like. If you remember being around back in 2018 and seeing how black powder rifles performed, and especially the dragon when it came to world boss events, we all remember exactly what it was like, and they did receive a sizable nerf when it came to all of those weapons. But to be honest though, even with the reload speed and even with the perks that you can apply to make it go faster and all that kind of stuff, it still isn't really a viable weapon. I would love to see these weapons get buffed even further so that we could actually use these as viable weapons and put together really good builds to actually use these, because just even with the reload speed at the moment and even with the damage, it still isn't really, to be honest with most of them, they aren't really that viable. So I would like to see, and look, these changes are welcomed, especially when it comes to the black powder weapons, but I would love to see these go even further. Before we head on over and check out the melee buffs and nerfs, we do have to take a look at the AP cost reduction adjustments for the following weapons. As you can see here, the 10mm submachine gun will be reduced from 28 down to 14. The dev note does state that the Anchorage Ace no longer gains an additional AP cost benefit beyond the reflex sight's 15% reduction. So yeah, a little bit of a change there coming to the Anchorage Ace. Also as well, the 50 cal machine gun is getting a reduction from 30 down to 12. The auto grenade launcher from 30 down to 18. The broadsider from 40 all the way down to 18. Now this will definitely come as great news to those who like to use the broadsider. However, I did note there, or I noticed in one of my community polls there earlier on in the week, that somebody did mention that the broadsider is currently bugged when it comes to the reload. So yeah, hopefully they do catch that come next week's update, because I know there are some people who are being affected by that. But hey, look, this change is very welcomed, and it'll be nice to see exactly how that does perform next week. The cremator is going down from 30 down to 20, the cryolator from 20 down to 10, the fat man from 60 down to 40, the flamer from 30 down to 10. Now it would be interesting to see if this does actually carry over to the holy fire. I know they are technically two different weapons, but they are both flamers at the end of the day. But yeah, look, it would be nice to see if that does actually carry over. Now I know the holy fire did actually receive a nerf when it came to the last update. I know it doesn't really perform as well as it used to, but yeah, it would be interesting to see if this does actually carry over to that. But hopefully it does. I'm not going to assume that it is going to, but it'll be nice to see if it does. The Gatling gun is getting a reduction from 30 down to 14. I know this is going to come as great news to those who like to use the Gatling gun. There's a lot of people who do like to use that at events, and especially they do like to use it in VATS, so it's nice to see to get that big reduction there in AP cost. The Gatling laser is going down from 30 down to 8. The Gatling plasma 30 down to 14. Now we did cover this in our previous video where we went over all of the new mods that will be coming to the Gatling plasma with next week's update. If you'd like to check that video out, definitely make sure to head over and check that video out. You can click on the top right hand corner there on that link. This weapon, believe me, when it comes to next week's update, this weapon is going to be performing very well, and it's good to see, especially using this weapon in VATS it's definitely getting that reduction there. So yeah, definitely make sure to head over and check out that video. I'm really excited to get my hands on all the mods for the Gatling plasma next week. But anyway, moving on, the Gauss minigun is getting a reduction there from 30 down to 14. Definitely a welcome change. I know obviously this weapon does like to eat VATS up in a big way, and especially when it comes to your AP cost. So yeah, it'd be nice to see exactly how this does perform next week. So we'll definitely make sure to head over and test that to see how it does perform. Look, it's a good change. I like to see it. It's very welcomed. So yeah, good to see that there. And then also the harpoon gun is getting a reduction from 40 down to 18. Moving on, the Hellstorm missile launcher is getting a reduction from 45 down to 20. The light machine gun is getting a reduction from 32 all the way down to 10. Now this is definitely a welcome change to the light machine gun, because if you use the light machine gun yourself, you probably know exactly how it performs in VATS. This thing chews through VATS very, very quickly. So it's nice to see that it is getting that reduction. I don't know if it will perform, like obviously yes, it will perform a little bit better, but it would be interesting to see exactly how quickly it gets through your AP bar compared to how it does now. So yeah, definitely something we're going to be checking out next week. Moving on, the M79 grenade launcher is getting a reduction from 30 down to 16. The minigun is getting a huge AP cost reduction from 30 all the way down to 8. Now this is a great weapon, not only because yes, look, the minigun, it's a nice weapon to use because you know you can fire loads and loads of rounds at enemies, but you can utilize this weapon by popping on a shredder. And you know, I brought out a video here, I think it was last year or maybe it was earlier on this year, I can't remember exactly when it was, when it comes to the shredder when you pop it on the minigun, and believe me, it works in a big way, especially going up against world bosses. So it'd be interesting to see how that performs now in VATS with that little change there. Well, not little, big change, so that's a very welcome change to the minigun. Moving on, the missile launcher is getting a reduction from 45 down to 25. The pepper shaker, which we did cover in our video there earlier on the week, is getting a reduction from 30 down to 14. The plasma caster is getting a huge reduction from 30 down to 18, and I know this is going to come as great news to those who love to use the plasma caster. I love using the plasma caster myself, so yeah, this is definitely coming as a very welcome change when it comes to the plasma caster. And lastly, the ultrasight Gatling laser is actually getting a reduction from 30 down to 10 compared to the regular Gatling laser, which is getting a reduction from 30 down to 8. Now, one of the trends that you'll probably notice here, that pretty much all of these weapons here, bar the 10mm submachine gun and maybe one or two others, a lot of these weapons are heavy guns, and this is obviously a reflection that the likes of using heavy guns in VATS, and especially if you are going to be using power armor, VATS and heavy guns together in combination, that is getting a nice bit of attention when it comes to next week's update. There's going to be a big reduction there, and you're going to notice a lot of people are going to be using heavy guns in VATS come next week's update. So that is a big welcome change to a lot of these weapons. Now, taking a look at the melee buffs. For you melee builds, this is definitely a category that you do want to pay attention to, because there is a lot of buffs coming to a lot of melee weapons. As you can see here, there's roughly a couple of tables that we have of melee weapons that will be receiving a buff. There's a lot of them, but before we go into these, we do need to talk about the elephant in the room. There will be weapon adjustments to the following two weapons. Everyone's favorite auto axe will be getting a reduction from 31 down to 24. Now, don't be alarmed, this is just a reduction of roughly 7, so I don't really see this as a massive nerf to the auto axe. It's a tiny little nerf to the auto axe. It probably still will perform very well come next week's update. You know, like if this is a reduction from 31 down to like 15 or even 12 or something like that, that would be a huge nerf to the auto axe. But a reduction in 7, I don't think it's, you know, time to sound the alarm bells when it comes to this weapon. It is gonna, you will notice a tiny little difference, but not a huge difference when it comes to the auto axe. I will make a follow-up video to test it and see exactly what it's like with next week's update, because obviously we do have a couple of videos here on the channel covering the auto axe and how well it does actually perform. But a reduction in 7, I don't think it's anything to be alarmed about. Yeah, I know it's not great news, and I know it's not welcomed when it comes to a reduction on this weapon, but hey, look, it is what it is. We'll test it and we'll see exactly what it's like. Also, the V63 Swinehander is getting a balance adjustment. It's going from 85/45 over to 64/64. So on paper, yeah, it is actually technically a tiny little nerf. When you do the math on this one, especially when you look at the difference between 85 going down to 64, but 45 up to 64, similar to the cold shoulder, there's a difference of roughly maybe 2 or 3 in the damage numbers there. So it is technically getting a tiny little nerf there when it comes to that weapon. But don't worry, we will do a follow-up video. We'll test all of these weapons out to see exactly what they're like, but a tiny little nerf coming there to the V63 Swinehander. Probably still will perform very well. As I said, we have a video here on the channel to see exactly what it does perform like now, but I don't probably see this being a massive change. Moving on, you can see the following melee weapons will be receiving a buff. The Assaultron Blade will be receiving an increase from 40 up to 51. The baseball bat will be going up from 50 to 69. The baton from 40 up to 47. The bear arm from 50 up to 70, and this is definitely coming as a welcome change, because I know a lot of people used to love the bear arm back in the day. A lot of people still do like to use the bear arm, but it is nice to see that getting that increase there from 50 all the way up to 70. Moving on, the blade of Basset is going up from 52 to 61. The board is going up from 50 to 68. The bone club 51 to 60. The bone hammer 80 to 94. The Boeing knife 30 to 35. The boxing glove 34 to 40. The cattle prod is going from 86 all the way up to 113. The Chinese officer sword 36 up to 42. The combat knife 33 up to 44. The cultist blade 41 up to 52. The cultist dagger 32 up to 38. Moving on, we can see the death tambo is going from 45 up to 53. The Deathclaw gauntlet is going from 55 up to 77. So yeah, both the Deathclaw gauntlet and also as well when it comes to the bear arm, both of those are actually receiving a nice buff when it comes to both of those weapons. So yeah, be interested to see exactly how those perform next week. Moving on, the Electro Enforcer, we actually did a video on this here last week when it comes to all the alien weapons that you could obtain from the Invaders from Beyond event. That's getting a buff there from 35 up to 44. The Fire Axe is getting a buff of 72 up to 84. The Gauntlet, it's going up from 50 to 81. So a lot of fan favorite weapons here that a lot of people did like to use back in the day. They're getting that nice little buff there. As you can see there, that is a very welcome change, especially to the Gauntlet as well. The Golf Club 45 up to 57. The Grognak Axe 85 up to 107. The Guitar Sword 50 up to 59. The Hatchet 40 up to 51. The Knuckles 35 up to 50. The Lead Pipe 39 up to 49. The Machete 40 to 51. The Meat Hook 34 up to 40. The Mole Miner Gauntlet is going up from 45 up to 64. The Multi-Purpose Axe 69 up to 87. The Pickaxe 60 up to 76. The Pitchfork 47 up to 59. The Pipe Wrench is going from 30 up to 38. The Plasma Cutter is pretty much definitely getting a buff. As you can see there, it's going from 26 over 68 up to 30 over 86. So yeah, there you go. The Plasma Cutter also getting a nice little buff there. And the Pole Hook is going from 71 up to 90. Now moving on to the last bit of changes, as you can see here, the Pool Cue is going from 46 up to 58. The Power Fist is going from 58 up to 81. These are great changes to these weapons. The Revolutionary Sword 44 up to 56. The Rolling Pin 28 up to 35. The Sheep Squatch Club is going from 60 to 76. The Staff 75 to 95. The Crook is going up from 50 to 63. The Shish Kebab is going from 27 up to 34. The Shovel is going from 40 to 54. The Sickle 36 to 45. The Ski Sword is going from 50 up to 63. The Sledgehammer is going from 71 up to 90. The Super Sledge 85 up to 107. The Switchblade 30 up to 38. The Tenderizer 75 up to 95. That's a definite welcome change when it comes to the Tenderizer. The Tire Iron 29 up to 37. The Walking Cane 42 up to 53. The War Drum 78 up to 70 or up to 99. And then lastly, the Warglaive is getting a buff from 82 all the way up to 104, and that is a big welcome change when it comes to the Warglaive. Probably one of the best weapons when it comes to two-handed weapons out there compared to the likes of the Electro Enforcer. Now the Warglaive, look, I will be making a video on that, especially when it comes to this change, but the Warglaive, everyone knows how well the Warglaive performs. Now I know the Auto Axe is technically a two-handed melee weapon as well, and so is the V63 Swinehander, but to be honest, when it comes to the Warglaive, this weapon here is a ton of fun to use. It really is. So it's nice to see that change coming in there. So yeah, those are all of the buffs coming to the melee weapons, and also as well the balance adjustments, if you want to say, and nerfs coming to some of the melee weapons as well. And finally, in a surprise announcement over on the Bethesda Discord, double XP, double mutations, and Gold Rush will be coming tomorrow, November 28th, and will be finishing up on December 2nd. It will be starting at 5 PM GMT, whatever time that is in the world for yourself. Normally the daily reset time here on Fallout 76. But yeah, double XP, double mutations, and Gold Rush will be coming back this weekend. And I know this is going to come as great news to those who are trying to get through the last sort of few ranks on the scoreboard, trying to complete challenges, trying to get their player character levels up, obviously prepping for the Gleaming Depths update. Definitely coming as great news. There you go, folks. Double XP, double mutations, and Gold Rush is back this weekend. However, that's everything for today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the changes we discussed and what you're looking forward to most when it comes to the Gleaming Depths update. As always, if you found today's video informative, consider giving the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you never miss out on future videos. To our channel members, members and subscribers, thank you for your continued support and helping the channel to grow. If you're picking up anything over on the Bethesda Gear Store and you'd like to support the channel, you can use my creator code BT76Atomic until December 3rd to receive 20% off your entire purchase. Until next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch you all in the next video.